दलालले चेलीलाई विदेशमा राम्रो काम लगाइदिन्छु भन्छन्। दलालले चेलीलाई कालकोठीमा बेचबिखन पनि गर्न सक्छन्। दलालले चेलीलाई कालकोठीमा
सामा पढाइ थिएन, पढ्दा छोडी त्यही घाँस लाउरा गर्थी अरू त केही गरेन, पढाइ छोडिदिए हामीलाई त्यति खायो भने कति गाले नगाले सिधै वहीँ लैगयो, दिल्ली लैगयो। केटी बिक्री गर्छन् भन्ने केही थाहा थिएन, अब त्यसैले थाहा गरायो।
अनि मैले सोधेँ दिदी मलाई ल्याउने मान्छेहरू छैन भनेर भनिसकेर तिनीहरू त त्यसलाई बेचेर गइसक्यो भन्न थाल्यो। मान्छे चाहिँ किन बम्बईवाली भन्छ, हामी सोक्लेर मर्जिन्त गएको भन्यो नि, हामीलाई पनि बेचेको हो नि, उसको चेलीबेटी बेचेको भयो उसले पनि त्यस्तो भन्थ्यो र।
धेरै दिदीबहिनीहरू विदेश बस्छन्, तिमी पनि जाऊ भन्ने कुरो गरे साथीहरूले गाउँको। त्यसपछि मैले भने ठिकै छ म जान्छु, मलाई चाहिँ हामी बस्यो भने नोलासे जाने भनेर। अनि तिनीहरूले जहाँ लय नि हुने भनेर भिसा बनाएर पठाएछ कि यहाँबाट राति 12 बजे तल काममा पठाउने। अनि तल काममा जाँदाखेरि 2-3टा केटाहरू नराम्रो नर्छन्। म चिच्चाएर माथि आएँ, आउँदाखेरि म्याडमले किन त आइस भनेर त्यही माथि पिट्नु भयो। अब म मात्रै होइन, दिदीबहिनीहरू उहाँ एमएसीमा पनि धेरै एउटा दिदीको ढाड भाँचेर झामझिरी भएर बसिया छन्, कोही डेलिभरी छन्, कसै नेपाली आउनु नहुने छ, बिजोग छ उहाँ पनि, कोही पागल भएर हिँडिया छन्, थुप्रो छन्, 400-500 जनै छन् एमएसीमा।
दलाल भनेको चेलीहरूलाई आफ्नो पैसाको लोभमा आफ्नो आमा अनि भाइ बहिनीहरूलाई पनि बेच्नेलाई दलाल भन्छन्।
Human trafficking is actually a very complex problem in today's situation, especially in a country like Nepal, which is facing both economic and political instability. Initially, we were looking more at trafficking from a point of view of sexual trafficking or trafficking for sexual exploitation, which is still a problem, which is still a critical issue. Today, actually, trafficking is become more murkier and it's got merged into the whole process of labor migration. Labor migration per se is not a negative thing, but the problem happens when labor migration does not happen through the right channel, or when in the garb of labor migration men and women actually get trafficked to other countries. That happens primarily in countries where governance systems aren't really very strong, and local opportunities being limited, men and women are willing to take more risks. Trafficker, on the other hand, is taking advantage of these very vulnerabilities, which are economic and which are further aggravated along gender lines, to exploit this vulnerability of both men and women. They are just using these men and women as commodity and moving them across borders and willing to sell them wherever they get the highest price for their labor. In most of the cases that we have seen, the trafficker happens to be somebody that the victim trusted. The initial journey is built on trust by the victim on somebody who is showing him a better life. There are also newer and emerging trends of internal trafficking, which is being couched under what's broadly being termed today as the adult entertainment industry. While majority of the women made the transition to come to work internally in some restaurant as they perceived, when they did end up was in a situation of extreme sexual exploitation and coercion. Another area which is today also a challenge, but which needs to be studied a bit more, is this whole scenario around organ trafficking. And in most of these cases, we find the victim didn't really understand the full impact of what it meant to sell an organ. And the other critical thing to understand is that this is happening across the border. The Combating Trafficking in Persons project, which is funded by USAID, is being implemented by Asia Foundation. Besides World Education, the program has 12 other partners who are addressing different aspects of the program, and the program is currently operational in 6 districts. The CTIP program in Nepal is actually supporting the Government of Nepal and the civil society to fulfill their commitment and obligation in really protecting its own citizen from being trafficked and ensuring that Nepal does not become either a transit or a destination or a source country for human trafficking. The CTIP program is actually a very holistic program. The way it is designed is that while it's working with civil society to support the community level initiatives, it's also actually working very closely with government agencies to create a policy framework, to create a larger national plan which can be implemented in collaboration by the government and the civil society partners together. So the project has all the 3 aspects that are needed to be looked at when you're doing anti-trafficking program, which is prevention, protection, and prosecution. I think the key component which is hinging all of these 3 is the coordination component. Coordination in the CTIP program is translated in actually working very closely with the government agencies to create a policy environment that would help the civil society partners and other state and non-state stakeholders like the police or the judiciary to implement a program which is very much centered around the rights of the victim.
Actually, government has taken a lead in terms of the policy formulations. With the help of the USAID and other development partners, we have developed a national plan of action against human trafficking, especially that of women and children, national minimum standards of the services to be provided to the victims and affectees, the standard operating procedures to run the rehabilitation center, and lastly, we have now got psychosocial counseling guideline as well.
The Government of Nepal has set up the NCCHT, which is the nodal agency within the Ministry of Women's Affairs, who has been tasked with really coordinating anti-trafficking efforts within government and across civil society. And the CTIP program actually supports the NCCHT in both technically and in operational terms. All these 3 are extremely critical policy documents that is defining the roadmap for different players who are involved in human trafficking. And this has only been possible because of the strong focus on coordination and having a larger buy-in by the government in this whole program.
I'm confident that because of our intervention, a lot of positive change has been made, especially in the creation of the awareness among the government officials, and also the collaboration and partnership with different stakeholders.
एकदमै बोल्ने थिएन, बोल्न यताउता मान्छेहरूसँग पनि हिँड्दैन। सुरुमा त नचिने मान्छेले किन सोध्यो होला, किन भन्यो होला भन्दा अलिकति डर त लाग्ने थियो है। बोल्दैन, उहाँसँग कुरा गर्दा गर्दा कति धेरै दिनसम्म आउनुभयो, मलाई यत्रो बोल्नु पाएन, धेरै दुःख गर्नुभयो।
One of the most important things that we have to recognize is that we have to recognize that people are people first. There might be survivors of trafficking, but they are people first. Protection does not mean locking somebody away for 2 years or 3 years or 4 years. The rehabilitation process that links them back to life helps them reintegrate in a manner where they have dignity, they have control over their decisions, and they're part of the decision making rather than being told what the decisions should be.
Under the protection component, the CTIP program's first priority was really to get the government to create a overarching policy which was victim-centric, which would ensure that when victims are provided any form of assistance, that the central focus of that support is the victim and the victim's rights. The USAID funded CTIP program worked very closely with the NCCHD and the Ministry of Women and Children to create the national minimum standards for victim protection. The NMS is also backed with the SOP, which is the standard operating procedures for shelter home. Now, these two policies, they are the guiding principles on which the rest of the protection component is based.
र हामीले चाहिँ एकदमै वेलफेयर एप्रोचमा तिमीहरूलाई यो सहयोग गर्दिए त्यसो गर्ने नभएर यो भनेको एउटा महिलाले अथवा एउटा सर्भाइभरले पाउने अधिकार हो। त्यस अधिकारलाई संरक्षण हुने खालको भाषा र त्यो अनुसारको बिहेभहरू हामी गर्छौँ। उहाँहरूलाई दिने सेवा सुविधाहरू तपाईले यो गरिसकेपछि गजब हुन्छ हामीले प्रोभाइड गरिदिएको भन्नुभन्दा पनि तपाईको यो अधिकार हो।
Building the capacity of the shelter and caregivers is on one hand, but building the capacity of also the legal service providers to really understand the victim-centric approach has been the other side of the coin. It's not just about providing protection by sending a survivor to a shelter home. It's about creating an environment where that survivor is able to rebuild his or her own identity outside of being a trafficked victim.
नेपालीले बेच्ने रहेछ। त्यही भएर म कसैलाई विश्वास मार्दिनँ। अब बुढी भए पनि यस्तो बेच्ने मान्छेहरूले यस्तो फाँसीको सजाय दिन पर्ने। फाँसीको सजाय पायो भने त्यो पनि कम हुन्छ। त्यो बम्बई जतामा कम राम्रो हुन्छ। आमै के गर्ने मैले केही पनि जान्दिनँ। मैले के कसलाई भन्ने को वकिल त्यो पनि थाहा छैन भन्दाखेरि मैले लगेर जान्छु तिमीलाई भनेर उनीहरूले 3-4 चोटि आउनुभयो अनि ललितालाई मिलाइदिनु भयो। कसैले नै फेरि भन्छ त्यो मान्छे छुटेर आयो भने तिमीलाई मारिदिन्छ भन्छ। मैले भन्छु मारेर मारोस् केही पर्वा छैन। अनि दिन त ऊ झेलमा बस्नु पाउँछ नि मेरो आँखाले हेर्न पाउँछ नि भन्छु मैले।
The entire process of jurisprudence is today seeing a change in Nepal, and the Combating Trafficking in Persons project under the prosecution component, our focus is to really strengthen this process of jurisprudence. What's interesting is that some of these convictions have actually been exemplary. It's shown an extremely critical level of jurisprudence by the judges who were involved.
अब त्यो पीडक जो 20 वर्ष जेल तोकिएको छ ऊ फर्केर आएर दिने बेलासम्म त्यो पीडित को लाइफ पनि समाप्त भइसकेको हुन सक्छ। यस्तो अवस्थामा तत्कालै घरै नै राहत दिनुपर्ने भएकोले अदालतले आफ्नो एउटा एक्टिभिजनद्वारा व्याख्या गरेर राज्य कोषबाटै पीडितलाई चाहिँ राहत देऊ, क्षतिपूर्ति देऊ र जुन क्षतिपूर्ति दिएको छ त्यो असुल गर्ने कुरा राज्यले पछि पीडकको सम्पत्तिबाट गर्दै गर। हामीले सम्भवतः हाम्रो मुलुकमै पहिलोपटक यस्ता अपराधहरूमा निरन्तर सुनवाई, लगातार सुनवाईको प्रबन्ध गरेका छौँ।
We would say that these are landmark judgments. These actually set a precedent to the rest of the judiciary on how human trafficking cases should be dealt.
सबै कसुरहरूको सजाय खापेर सजाय गर्नुपर्छ भन्ने अन्तर्गत मकवानपुर जिल्लामा 34 वर्ष हैन एउटा पर्पिट्रेटरलाई चाहिँ 34 वर्षको सजाय भएको छ यो मानव बेचबिखन केसमा र त्यसै गरी अर्को चाहिँ वैदेशिक रोजगारको सिलसिलामा भएको बेचबिखनलाई पनि मानव बेचबिखन ऐन अन्तर्गत सजाय गर्न सकिने हैन यो चाहिँ असाध्यै महत्त्वपूर्ण एउटा जुरिस्प्रुडेन्स विकास भएको छ भन्ने मलाई लाग्दछ.
We are also focusing extensively on training and capacity and skills building of the law enforcement officials. And these trainings are not just focusing on teaching them the law because they know the law. It's more about understanding how does a victim-centered approach gets translated in the process of the criminal justice operations.
मान्छेले त भन्छ गाउँको मान्छेहरू त मलाई भन्छ तैँले त केस जित्न सक्दैन यस्तो गर्छ उस्तो गर्छ तँसँग पैसा छैन भनेर भन्छ. फेरि पनि मलाई पैसा नभए पनि मलाई के अरे सहयोग गर्ने मान्छेहरू छ.
पासपोर्ट बनाए पासपोर्ट लगाए उताबाट भिसा पठाइदियो भने शङ्का लागे यो राम्रो भिसा होइन नक्कली रहेछ अनि संस्था पनि गएँ म संस्था पनि बुझे कुरा त्यहाँबाट यो नक्कली भिसा परेर रहेछ त्यहाँ म गएँ रोकिहालेँ कारण म 2-4-5 महिना बसेँ चुप्पै लागेर गरेर अहिले म दोकान थालेर बसेँ.
The CTIP program actually decided to address prevention from a slightly different angle, because prevention activities have been going on for years now. And what was critical to understand is that how effective have these activities been? How effective have these programs been in actually preventing trafficking? Therefore, the CTIP program created what we call the Safe Migration Network. Now, the Safe Migration Networks are actually community-level networks which are men and women representatives from the community who are working as frontline service providers, who live in the community and are accessible to the community at any time to give them whatever support they may need in terms of either information or in terms of referral or in terms of protection support.
कम्युनिटी लेभलमा उनीहरूको चाहिँ कतिपय ठाउँमा चाहिँ एसएमएन्समा नै भिटिसी रिप्रेजेन्टेटिभ नै एसएमएन मेम्बर अथवा एसएमएनको चेयरम्यान भएर काम गरिरहनु भएको वडा नागरिक मञ्चको मेम्बरहरू त्यसमा इन्क्लुड भएको हुनाले भोलि गएर उहाँहरूले चाहिँ यो गाविससँग पनि काम गर्न सक्ने वातावरण चाहिँ सिर्जना भइरहेको छ र यसलाई इम्प्रुभ हुँदै जाँदैछ र सेफमाइग्रेसन नेटवर्कहरूले पछि सिटिप नरहे तापनि उहाँहरूले चाहिँ काम गरिरहनु हुनेछ भन्ने चाहिँ देखिएको छ, लागिरहेको छ.
The validity of the Safe Migration Network is today gaining a lot of credence. It's interesting that we find that a lot of these safe migration networks actually today are able to access local level resources, funds from the VDC, which are meant for a variety of development programs. And these network members are actually able to convince the VDC and through a formal process get access to these resources. So this link is strongly showing that the Safe Migration Network are becoming more and more part of the existing institutional mechanisms that operate at the grassroots level. But it's equally important to address the socioeconomic aspects of the problem. It's equally important, if we really want to address trafficking, to look at issues of livelihood, to look at issues of skills and opportunities, to look at issues of gender discrimination, to look at concerns around gender-based violence. So we feel that the problem has solutions that need to be addressed from different angles, and not just in a system of saying, okay, let's just arrest the traffickers, put them through a court process and get the convictions, which is important but not going to be the only way that you can resolve this issue.
Let's not look at human trafficking just as an isolated topic. We need to look at it from different perspectives. So in the globalized market, I feel that we need to look at the economics of trafficking. What is it that attracts so many people to go outside? And until and unless we take human trafficking as governance issue, as corruption issue, as political issue, it is going to be very difficult just to address the poverty, illiteracy, and such things that we have pointed out as the root cause. And the other thing that I also see as a major challenge is the turf issue within the organizations that are working in it. Because this is such a huge problem, not one organization can address it.
We need to see trafficking as a broader development issue. So by saying that, what I believe is that there is a broader link between trafficking project and with other broader development program, for example, economic growth, health, education, and the governance, of course. So I would suggest all development actors working in this sector to think from broader perspective and the link combating trafficking with the development program they have been doing in this country.
दलालले चेलीलाई विदेशमा राम्रो काम लगाइदिन्छु भन्छन्। दलालले चेलीलाई विदेशमा राम्रो